Welcome to the world of Jones Knows. One of the biggest problems with vinyl floor installation that homeowners and even installers have is getting started. So today we're going to tackle that problem. I'm going to show you how to start your floor properly. Today on Jones Knows.
It's so beautiful, you and me, we meant to be.
Hi, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tim. I'm a flooring and stair contractor, and as usual, helping me in the videos are my sons Tristan and Hunter. So I hear it all the time. I can't get the boards to stay locked. My joints are opening up on me. The boards won't stay down. The joints are popping open. What am I doing wrong? These are all problems related to getting the floor started. To me, the key to any project, whether it's flooring, stairs, building a house, whatever it is the foundation and getting started properly. So today, we're going to break it down to the first 5 rows of the floor, how to lay them, how to get the joints closed so that the rest of the installation goes smooth. So without any further ado, let's head out to my job site where we're installing some Nucor vinyl, but it could just as well be LifeProof, Shaw, whatever the brand, or even laminate for that matter. We're going to go over some basic steps on how to get started. Let's hit it. So before we even break open a box or lay a single board, want to go ahead and get your old flooring removed. If you have carpet and tack strip, you'll want to cut your carpet up into 3-foot wide strips and roll those pieces up. Don't try to take the room up in one big piece. It'll be a nightmare. Let's go ahead and get our jambs cut. I want you to go ahead and take a scrap piece of flooring and get yourself an oscillating saw. You can buy them for 20-30 bucks if you don't want to invest in a good one. I'm using a fine here. Once we cut through it, you see how I actually use the oscillating saw to just knock out that little piece of door jamb that I cut off. Now it's time to scrape, sweep, and get that floor ready. You don't want to have any chunks of plaster, concrete. You don't want to go ahead and scrape all these off because you will feel it under the vinyl floor when you walk on it. Once that's all done and you got it all ready to go, you're going to want to make 3 to 4 starter pieces. You don't want to make these boards too close together, so let's vary the lengths of these boards by 8 to 12 inches. We're going to go ahead and score and snap our boards. We don't even need a saw for this installation. When we start laying these, I don't want you to have to worry about expansion, so just go ahead and push those boards right up against that wall, even under it in our case here. The key to getting started right now is the order that he lays these boards. Do not try to lay just 2 rows and then the rest of your floor. I want you to lay minimum 4 rows. In our case here, we're doing 5 rows. So let's follow the order that he's laying these boards. This is key to our starting this floor properly. Now you notice big tongue facing him and the big tongue on the end joint facing the direction that we're going. Okay, so once we get these first 5 boards in, then we'll lay the next board, and then we'll work our way back towards that bathroom behind him. Don't go further down the row until you can't lay any boards where we're working. So the key to getting these boards in here, you notice the little magic trick there I took over here, is wiggle, slide, wiggle, bump, and drop it down. And once we drop it, we're going to use a good mallet to hit it in place. And then we can take a scrap piece of flooring and use our mallet to hit it as a tapping block into the floor. You can even use your mallet on the floor like I did there if you're careful. So remember, wiggle, slide, and tap. Let's repeat this process. We're going to go ahead and take a little bit closer look at it here. We're going to see a close-up how I do this, and this is key to getting these installed properly. Now there's a method to my madness. By laying these 5 rows at a time, it's going to keep this floor going nice and straight, and the boards are going to go together much easier by doing it this way. Now you notice how I jumped on top of that floor there? Working from the floor is going to give you more leverage. As soon as you can get on that floor, it's a lot easier to lay it from the floor side versus laying it off the concrete. As soon as you can get onto that floor, I want you to jump on it and lay the floor from that side. So now that I'm on the floor, we're going to slide, wiggle, bump, and don't be afraid to hit it. Hit it into place. If that joint's closed, you should feel no edge at all. People ask me all the time, I feel something. Is that okay? Is that acceptable? No. Wiggle, slide, drop into place, and then mallet. And then I want you to randomly use a scrap piece of flooring as a tapping block. Do not use a real tapping block. By hitting it into the board like that, it's going to make sure that our joints are closed properly and you won't have any gaps. This is going to make your flooring go together much easier as well. If the joint is not closed all the way, you may think it is, but when you go to put the next board in, it's not going to go down properly because the last board isn't installed all the way. Now it's time to make all 5 enders. This is really easy. We're just going to take our boards, we're going to flip it the opposite way where those boards meet, mark it 1/4 inch short. That gives us the expansion on one end. Flip the board over and snap it, and that's our board for our end cut. With that leftover piece, we're going to go ahead and use that on the other end of the floor as a starter. That's going to keep our waist down and it's going to give us a completely random look. So now we just want to go ahead and repeat the steps I showed you and install those end boards, randomly tapping them with our scrap block. It's time to go ahead and get that floor in the right spot. What do I mean? We're going to take a pry bar. Now we're going to pull it off the wall 1/4 inch for expansion. Make sure it looks nice and straight as well. If you're not sure, go ahead and measure it from one side of the room to the next, but most of the time you can eye it. And once you're comfortable that it looks nice and straight, go ahead and put some boxes on it for weight. That's going to keep the floor from moving around on you and make your next rows install a heck of a lot easier. Now, if you had a wood subfloor, you can go ahead and put a couple screws through the floor underneath where the baseboard's going to go, but it's not really necessary. Put the boxes on it and that holds it just fine. Now, we're working on the 4th floor here, so we don't need a vapor barrier, but with Nucor and some of the other products, you are required to put a vapor barrier if you're on the ground floor, so keep that in mind. I always recommend reading your manufacturer's directions. No matter what floor you're installing, manufacturers constantly change directions and adapt their products to trends in the flooring industry, so always read your directions, even if you think you know what they say. Join me on our next video where we show you how to do the jam cuts and the final row cuts with this product. So I hope you found that useful and informative. We have lots of other content on how to install vinyl, laminate, wood, stairs, as well as product reviews and product testing. If you haven't subscribed yet, what I want you to do is take out your favorite flooring mallet, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos.